one thing that my father and mother taught me was to listen to P.RAMLEE because they like his songs. Okay, I remember the first song my dad made me listen to was Getaran Jiwa, because that's his all-time favorite song. So I grew up basically enjoying all the Malay movies that he made, you know, Bujang Lapor and all that. I enjoyed that and I learned the songs from there. But I didn't really like listen to, you know, other artists, other Malay artists. So basically I didn't really know many of them. But one person I know is the late P.RAMLEE. What I found out was, in general, right, he wrote, I think, about more than 300 songs, you know, and he had so many themes for all his songs. He had songs for children, no, like Gingerbread Semut. He had songs for weddings. He had love songs, of course, but he had a variety of songs that related to the people, and it's you know, it's the normal things and the normal themes that people talk about, you know, and so I think it relates to them in that way. But as a composer, because I write melodies and I'm more of a melody writer than a lyricist, I can identify with him because his melodies are very strong. To me, I find his melodies, they're catchy, okay? They are meaningful, they're very emotive. If he wants to emote, he wants to make you laugh, you can hear it in his melodies. If he wants to make you cry, you can hear it in his melodies. His melodies stand on their own, you know. You don't depend on the arrangement at all. You know, I mean, in contrast to today's music, a lot of the music that you hear on the radio these days, a lot of it comes from the music arrangement. So you get a great music arrangement with all the beats and everything, and if you take that out, you have a melody that doesn't stand on its own. So I think mostly the most important thing is that his melodies were strong. It could stand on its own. And you can take his song and you can change the arrangement and it'll still be relevant till today. As you can see from Sheila Majid's Legenda album, right? All these are old songs, 50s. Some songs I didn't even know, you know, but taken out, give a new lease of life with new arrangement and new style of singing, it still works. I'll give you another example. Back in the early 2000s, we recorded a young singer, okay, and she wanted to pay tribute to P.RAMLEE, so the late P.RAMLEE, so she wanted to do Aci Aci Buka Pintu. So what we did was I tried to do something crazy and I got some drum loop and I put it over. And she sang the song as it is. We didn't change the melody, we didn't disturb the song. But what we did was we put some crazy beats that were going all over the place. And, you know, we were surprised because it worked. And it's relevant, it's current. So that's what I mean when I say his melodies are strong. It can stand on its own, you know. You can take his music anywhere you like, change everything, and it will still be relevant and people can still identify. People can still digest the melodies. It's easy to listen to. It's nice and flowy, you know. And I love the way he takes chords, his movement, you know, in terms of music, right? His choice of notes taken from the chords that he used, you know, it flows really smoothly, like from the verse to the chorus to the bridge or whatever. There is a nice flow, so it's easier for people to digest. You know, when you listen to it, you like it. I think mostly it's because of his melodies. Of course, the lyrics were just as good. But another reason why I think his songs are evergreen is because of his singing. Okay, now, P.RAMLEE has such a wonderful voice that is distinctive. I mean, anywhere you can play the radio and if you hear that kind of singing, you know it's P.RAMLEE. You know, because his voice is so distinctive. He has that character and that warmth that touches the heart when he sings. And so all around, he's such an artist, he's such a talented person. You can name so many reasons why his songs are evergreen. And I think most of all is the melodies. He's very involved in his own arrangement, okay? He works with other composers, he works with other people, but he is very involved himself. He knows what he wants. So what he likes to do, and I think he's very advanced for his time because he had a lot of Western influence, you know, like He used beats like agogo, he used begin, he used mambo, you know, Western influence, but Malay melodies. And that's one thing wonderful about him, because he values the Malay culture. And I think, I might be wrong, but I think it was his legacy to just pass it on. He doesn't want the Malay music to die. But what was advanced is that his music arrangement, in terms of movement, in terms of rhythms, in terms of chord structures, they're very Western. They can be Western when he wants it to be, and yet still retain the Malay flavor. I have heard many people try to incorporate, okay, I'll give you an example. What's that rapper from Singapore? Ali Fikir, for example, right? If you listen to some of his earlier music, the hits, right? It has a lot of Malay influence, Malay Asli influence, that's just been modernized by music arrangement again. So, and then people like Art Fazil, there's a lot of singers, even Gingerbread at one time, you know, we still kept the Malay thing going, even though we tried to do modern stuff. And nowadays you have like singers like Nurani Zaidris, right, who still maintains. So I don't completely agree that the youngsters are straying away. I think it's just that because they're young, it's trendy to follow this Western style, and completely what I mean. But it will never die, I think, because there will always be somebody who wants to majukan, you know, your language and your tradition and your culture. And as long as there are people like that, even they might not be known now, but there will always be elements like these people in this business who will stay, who will keep that in. So I don't think it will completely disappear. It might go into transitions maybe and come back again in the future, but I don't think it will completely disappear. A piece of music, a song, if it's great, it's great. You know, songs like from the Beatles, for example, I'm using this because that's what I know. The Beatles, Elvis, they last to eternity. And the late P.RAMLEE is just one of those great artists, you know, geniuses of their time. Because when they write a song, you can strip away everything. You can change it. You can change the chords even. You know, you can change the movement. You can make it faster. You can make it slower. But the song is so strong. Its foundation is so strong that it can last through anything. So yes, improvisation, I feel, is you can't stop change. Okay, it's just like all of us, we have to move on, and I have to move on. I cannot be stuck in the 80s and still be singing like the 80s style, you know, otherwise I will not be relevant to today and in future. So the trend goes on, life goes on, but great songs will always last. It's okay. I think it's a good thing that you say that improvisation of his songs, because through improvisation you actually help to make the song go on another few more decades and longer, because you follow the trend, you keep the young interested, okay, because that's what we want. We want the young to be interested, to listen and to learn more about these geniuses of our time. You know, how else? I think this is a good way to keep the interest going, because if you make it interesting for them, you change it, you keep with the times, they will still want to listen to the songs, and the song will live another 100 years. So yes, I agree. Improvise. But improvisation don't change the melody. That's not what I mean. Okay? Melody is nice. Keep to the melody. Maybe change an arrangement. Add a rap or two. You know? Make it interesting, more interesting. Change the tempo. But the melody, I don't think it should be improvised too much.
Getaran jiwa melanda hatiku, tersusun nada irama dan lagu. Walau hanya sederhana, tetapi tak mengapa, maka dapat membangkitkan segala kamu, wahai insan. Irama dan lagu bagaikan kembang sentiasa bermadu, walau dipisah lagu dan irama, lemah tiada berjiwa.
Sederhana tetapi tak mengapa. Oh, ya dapat membangkitkan. Sadarlah kamu, wahai insan, tak mungkin hilang irama dan lagu, bagaikan kembang sentiasa bermadu. Andai bisa lagu dan irama, lemah tiada berjiwa.
Why was he such a great man? He was a great man because of his dedication to his work. He was true to his craft, true to his culture. He was very passionate, you know. But what he did extra was he went and learned. He went on with seeking knowledge, and he never stopped. Even those little things, those improvisations that came out during the filming at that time, you know, like maybe Sudin will come up with something funny. Those are all learning at the same time, because he saw the idea and he picked the idea and he used it and then developed the idea. So he never stopped learning. So I think my advice for the young is that they should never stop learning. Put dedication, passion in your work. There's no cutting corners in the music business. Even in singing, there's no cutting corners. I tell my students that all the time, because sometimes you think that singing is so easy. You just stand in front of the mic and oh, you're a star, you know. But that's not it. And even when I train, when I work with Singapore Idol, or when I'm training the performers at Universal, that's the first thing that I try to incorporate, is that learn your craft, and you have to, you know, fine-tune your mistakes and be open-minded about stuff. Always learn, listen. If, you know, for say budding song arrangers or budding songwriters, for example, just take the late P.RAMLEE's work as one subject, you know. And if you really study his songs, you study his chord structures, you study his arrangements, his lyric writing, you know, you actually learn a lot more, and that can help you improve in your own craft, because you have this great example to follow from. I hope it'll last for the rest of my lifetime, and another few lifetimes more. In fact, I don't think it should end. I think as long as there are people who enjoy listening to good music and who love watching movies that make you laugh and cry, then I think the late P.RAMLEE's legacy will just live on forever.